All right. Now we're doing FreeCodeCamp, JavaScript algorithms and data structers, basic algorithm scripting, confirm the ending. All right. So now we're going to check if a string, the first argument, so this one right here, ends with the given target string, the second argument, so this one right here. So this challenge can be solved with the endsWith method, which was introduced in ES 2015. But for the purposes of this challenge, we're going to use one of the JavaScript substring methods instead, all right? Well, that being said, you know what we're going to really do? We're going to do this first just to see what's up, all right? So this endsWith method, we've got the Mozilla site open over here. The endsWith method of string values determines whether a string ends with the characters of the string returning true or false as appropriate. So we do something like this. We'd have the search string first and then the in position after that. I don't know about this one. We don't really need that, I don't think. But if we come over here and do something like this, let's say return str dot ends with, and then we'll say target, and then let's wrap this thing up in parentheses and put in front of it console.log. You see it says true, right? And if let's say the target is S, it's false, right? So there we go. Let's just say AN, why not? Just so we can have two things there. So it's true also. So let's run the test. No good, because we're not supposed to use this. All right. So that being said, what we are going to do is we're going to use the slice method on the string, all right? If you forgot about the slice method, it's the method of array instances that returns a shallow copy of a portion of an array into a new array object selected from start to end. End is not included, where start and end represent the the index of items in the array, and the original array will not be modified. Well, we're not going to need an end since we're already dealing with the end. So all we got to really do here is say something like this, str.slice, but then we're going to have to somehow get it to only choose these, all right? So let's go back over here to the slice method. So if we look at these examples right here, we'll see something like this, to -2 right here. And you'll see when it does console.log animals.slice -2, it gives us duck and elephant. Let's just get all the rest of this stuff out of here so we can isolate it, right? Since that's the only one we need. And if we run it, we get duck and elephant like it says right here. So -2, 1, 2. If we put negative the number we want, it'll slice the last two or the last n numbers off the end, right? So let's come back over here. We know that we need something like this, all right? So couldn't we just do something like this? Negative target dot length. Does that look good? Look, it says str.slice negative target dot length. It's an, right? So all we have to do is say, does this equal the target? And it sure does. Look at that. If we run it, it works. But you know what? What kind of guy would I be if I didn't tell you other ways to do this, right? Especially ones that we haven't learned yet. So let's comment this out. And let's come up over here and let's set this thing up first. So let's say const, we're going to do this ES6 style, right? The concise syntax, I say. So now this equals, and then let's have the arguments list of string and target, all right? And then let's have the arrow right there. Let's come down here so that we have a little more room to work with. And there's this thing we can do. We can use regex, believe it or not, to access just the end of this thing right here, okay? But how do we get regex? How do we get this into regex? I mean, we can't just go and say like this target, right? Because it'll only look for the actual word target and not the variable. Well, so there is a way to do this, right? So there's this thing called the regex constructor. And it's the constructor that creates regex objects. So basically, these aren't good examples, but basically, actually they are. So if we do something like this, New regex, actually, whatever. These aren't good examples. But the fact is, if we do this new regex, and then put a, somehow put an, what is the thing we're looking for? And a variable inside this, it'll make the regex for us. But we got to somehow do that. So let's come over here and do that first. So we're, instead of the new, since we're doing it ES6 style, we don't have to do the new. We just say regex, like this. And inside here, we just want to get this at the end, right? For this of the string. So basically what we want to do here is use a template literal. Remember the thing with the backtick characters, all right? And then it has the, we can use the, what is it? The embedded expressions in them as well. These little things right here, all right? But also we only want it at the end. So remember these assertions. So the $ assertion that matches the end of input, remember that stuff? So let's come over here and we can say something like this. Let's put the backtick characters, which is right next to the left of the one, right above the tab key. And then we can say $, and then the curly braces for the regular expression, then another $. That one's, this one's to delineate or whatever the word is, that this is a regular expression. But this one's to say that it's at the end of the string. There's just so many things. There's just so few that they have to repeat. So get confused, but whatever. So if we put it inside here, target, like that, now we've got a string looking like this regex right here. So now what we can use is the good old test method, right? So we'll get the test and put the regex in front of it, .test. Where's an example? Anyway, we know how to do this. So we'll have the regex .test, and we'll test it against the string itself. And you see right here, it's true. If we change it to 2, it's false. So we know it's going well. Let's run the test. Looks good, and submit it. All right. So basically, I've realized this stuff is just to expose us to this stuff. I'm sure they can't think that we're going to be that good to be able to do this stuff right off the bat. That being said, if you want more practice, I've been saying, just come over here to Code Wars, make yourself an account, start with these 8 cues, go down to the 5 cues. I've got a bunch of videos on these. If you don't like the video, just let me know and I'll redo it. If you need a video that I don't have, just tell me and I'll make it for you. All right. So now we're on to repeat a string, and we'll see you next time.